All right, so I want to give you a procedure for factoring by finding zeros. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to think about a polynomial, right, like x squared minus 2x minus 3 as a function of x, right? Because certainly I could put some x's in here and I'd get some kind of a number out, right? So that thing really is a function, and there's this little theorem that's going to help us. So this little theorem says if a polynomial p of x has zeros, right? So zeros mean x's that I put in and get a zero out. So say those are listed as x1, x2, and then up to xn or something. So there's maybe a bunch of these. Then I can write p of x as some number k, which is just some kind of vertical inflation factor, times x minus the first zero in a quantity, times the quantity x minus the second zero, and kind of so forth until you get to the last zero, right? So the way that works is this little example. So say I want to use the graph to factor p of x is x squared minus 2x minus 3, okay? So here's my graph. This thing crosses the, which axis is that? I think that's an x-axis, right? So that's what I mean by zeros. Here's two zeros. This zero happens at x equals negative 1. This zero happens at x equals 3, right? Those are the x-intercepts, or the zeros. So those are my zeros. So I think I can rewrite this thing as x minus 1, only that's a plus, right? Times x minus 3. See that? Now I have to worry about this k, right? But if I FOIL this thing out, I see that I get an x squared, right? Just out of the f in FOIL. That x squared is this x squared, so there can't be a number here because that would get multiplied by that x squared, right? So that number there is 1. And boom, p of x is factored. See that? So factoring is a way to give me zeros, and zeros are a way to give me factoring. Sometimes I'll want to go from factors to zeros, and sometimes I'll want to go from zeros to factors. It really depends what you're doing, okay? Let me give you a little motivation for this picture, though. That's a parabola, right? Parabolas are what we're going to study for a long bit here. The reason we're going to study parabolas for a bit is that they describe motion. So anything you throw in the air makes a parabola path. When we launch ballistic missiles at people, they make parabola paths. When we shoot satellites into space, for a while they make parabola paths. It's really, really important we know how parabolas work so we can understand how motion and gravity works, okay? So that's the answer for the quiz. That's, right, remember, for the quiz, we look at parabolas because they're how motion works with gravity. Cool?